to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Yeah.
How'd your gutters hold up?
So far, so good.
Because
It came down earlier.
there was a lot of wind.
Yes.
Okay, because we got from the no, I don't have one in here. From the lady told me wind advisory from 11 p.m. last night to like something this morning, and I was like, I know exactly what's gonna happen. You look out here, and everything is in bloom right now. Pretty much anything that could have a blossom has one.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, I know exactly what's. I should have bought the damn gutter
guards. Yeah, but
because what happened? It
I mean,
was windy
even
as
if they're
shit.
in blossom, you might only get some petals, but not. You're not going to get big leaves.
No, it was
those are already
with the
all
wind.
down. Those are already all down, really.
No,
No
way. I pulled handfuls of leaves at that mid cell about 3
that were new.
Yes,
What the
my
hell?
gutters were clean.
Dude,
We've
none
had
of my
this
trees.
chat.
None of my trees have any leaves. Like
I have the oak trees. Yes, the oak trees, and then the with a plum in the lady's yard behind me. I pulled out petals. You look when you fucking leave here. There's like a pile of leaves because I had to get out mid downpour and go and I knew it was going to happen. I'm like I should get it. Well, there was nothing I could do, right? Because the wind. It was nasty. Those 2-3 pines right here in the front yard were like, whoa.
Yes.
And I went, ooh, shit.
because that happened right around 5:00.
Yeah, it was
They got
getting
hard,
with it, son. And before I picked up Xander, we hadn't put the trash can away, and it blew the trash can from the right behind the RS here, almost all the way down to the fucking fire hydrant. So I'm like. Mid thing on a call, on a call, right. Well, fucking, it could hit the front end and it wouldn't really be noticed. Hashtag thanks, Nick.
Oh,
that is bad. So I had to, like mid call.
Hold on.
Be right back.
Yeah,
and then pull the fucking thing back in.
I have no leaves on anything, so I wasn't worried about leaves at all. I mean, I'll get some broken branches out of the tree out front that will fall into the yard if it's real windy like today. And I'm sure there are. I haven't looked. There's probably several little sticks laying around in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
But I've spent significant time over the weekend, Sunday, spent significant time working in the yard. I aerated the whole front yard myself.
Yeah, I see you, bitch.
So and then the back, there's no leaves back there either. So
yeah, I'm surrounded by shit that still has leaves. The oak trees,
that's crazy.
Like, still have. And then it doesn't help that the way I've configured our set of gutters, I have a bottleneck in one gutter. And if you were to look at my Amazon wish list stuff, I have a number of I would like to put a rain chain right here on the corner.
Yeah,
and that would alleviate,
which is different from the chain gang,
right? Or a gang bang. Oh, right. It's told me in the kitchen. It was like yesterday. She's like, "Boy, you
look outside when it's raining."
You and Jim with the anal shit last week, and I went, "Man, we wouldn't let it go." And she's like, "Just throwing it in there."
Yeah.
Just.
I'm just picturing you looking outside and being like, "Look at the gangbang coming out of the drain."
Yeah, that's just a chain bang of gangbang rain.
Exactly.
Drain.
Yeah. Wait, do you have a missing gutter, or is it clogged, or what's going on?
There is a downspout right in front of the door, like the front door.
But that's the only one for that whole gutter or something?
Yeah. So the length of the run from the front door across the front of the house,
and then over here,
and then up the office, and then down to the small garage door, all comes out one spout, and that's because the front
remodel.
the way that the little pond here in front, the downspout, like it's a low area, so the downspout like it fills up that like landscaped pond space,
and it's encapsulated with cement,
right? And then it backfills. It was backfilling into the front of the house because it slopes inward instead of outward.
Yeah.
So I capped that downspout.
Oh.
And so it all runs out here.
You need to put a drain into the sidewalk.
Yes. And I think I'm gonna say it's on my spring, early summer to-do list.
To-do never list.
No, right? I'm knocking shit out. This year I'm knocking shit out.
Yeah, I know. I feel that.
And the pond definitely needs it because the pond has some sort of leak. I think it's finally like cracked one of the liners and it won't really stay full anymore. Like, and I'm not wasting water on that. So,
sorry, fish.
Well, you know, if I can, Jesus, we haven't had fish. We tried fish once and it didn't work out. I think because I'm like, I just want a pump that'll fucking never break. And I think I
suck the fish into the pump.
I garbage disposal the fucking fish or Placostomus.
Oh shit!
That might also be why frogs don't fuck with it because you lay your tadpoles.
You have
in there.
the legendary pond out front that all the little critters talk about. It's the legend of the pond, right?
It's the big eat.
Don't go near the sucky thing.
If you die, stay away from the big suck.
We don't go to that pond.
It's funny. It's funny we mentioned that because, God, this was probably years ago. I looked outside because there was like every once in a while we get like doves. We'll use it as like a bird fountain, but not every season.
Yeah.
There was like a fluttering, like a constant sound of like birds.
Yeah.
And I like looked out.
Was it bald eagle?
And I couldn't know.
Oh.
It was a fucking falcon. No.
Okay.
No.
I was like, what?
What? No. I never saw a bird.
Yeah.
But there was it was like an older
older gentleman?
Older gentleman cat.
Taking a bath?
Yeah. And it was like the fucking sad Keanu of cats.
What?
It was just sitting. You don't know the meme? Okay. It was just sitting
on the bench with a sandwich.
Like looking. Yes. It was just like looking into the pond from the waterfall.
Like his buddy probably died in there.
Right. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And like because the waterfall itself I had turned off because it was like I designed it shitty and it would leak. So I turned off the upper waterfall.
Yeah.
The lower waterfall was working.
So
animals.
You're killing off Yosemite Falls single-handedly. Upper Falls is dead. Lower Falls is all right.
If I didn't use the water, then it would get shipped down south.
Right.
So I'm just trying
keeping it here.
I'm just trying.
Let's keep it local.
Keeping it local.
Yeah. You don't want Trump getting his hands on your fucking water.
No way, man. That's your fucking problem. I'm a
local guy.
I'm a nationalist water individualist.
A localist.
Yeah, localist.
A localist.
Yeah.
Water individualist.
Isolationist. Fuck all you. Yeah, this is my water.
But Canada, send some water down here, would you?
Yeah, could I have your lumber?
With 50% tariffs.
I need your wood. So this cat was sitting on the upper waterfall that was dry, and it was just staring down into the abyss, and it was just one of those moments where I think I took a picture, and I was like, there's this I think this cat is about to die, and he's like looking
He's reflecting on his life.
Like, man, there were so many mice I could have got, but I never got to it, man. I just, you know what? Fuck it. And I was gonna go out and be like, hey, buddy, are you okay? But I think I got on a call or a fucking squirrel, shiny, who the fuck knows what. And then when I looked back to be like, am I going to have to get a fucking dead cat out of the pond?
Yeah.
The cat was gone. And I went,
Are you sure he wasn't in the pond?
Right. And at the time, I mean, who knows?
Probably got shredded up by that filter.
Months or weeks later, we've done things where we've cleaned the pond out.
Why is there a pile of
and there
cat
was like a
bones?
dead rat in there? So he could have just been fucking a dead rat.
Oh yeah,
that was in the pond and being like, is it worth it?
I don't know. How long's it been in there?
I don't really want to get wet though. Could I jump off the plant in it to get? You know what? That guy's staring at me. I think I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay, fuck off. Okay, yeah, fuck off. Everyone could just fuck off. And then,
Yeah.
and never saw it again.
Yeah.
But the pond space needs to get redone this year. I have resigned.
Are you going to tear the pond out or redo it?
I
think you make it bigger. You put in...
I like the size that it is.
Like a fucking, water slide into it
Yeah, like
from the roof.
just, bring your dead cats.
I don't want to hear excuses. I just want to see results.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone can slide into this bitch.
Yeah.
You're going to blow a taint, but you could slide into it.
Yeah. Right onto a fucking RovoCam.
I have...
I just said RovoCam.
Oh, my God, dude. How drunk is you? I think I'm going to, mortar most of it.
Yeah.
I like
Gunite?
the shape. I like the... What?
Get the gunite truck out here.
Yeah, the gun. All right. And
we're done.
And we're done.
And that's $45,000.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. I need a whole truck. Just... And we're done.
It's just cement spurt at that point.
I'll just smooth it around.
Yeah.
Just go in random pool chasing. Okay, could you...
Hey, when you're all done gun-hiding this pool, can you just
start
by
wandering around the neighborhood with a fucking wheelbarrow? Like, hey man, are you putting in a pool?
Run by my house and spurt some gunite on this pond.
You got anything left in the bottom of that thing? Could you just roll it over one more time? And yeah!
I'm just picturing you like flash dance on the chair, having them dump cement on you.
I need it in the pond.
Right. I mean, you'd be sitting over the pond.
I mean, if you give me the free gunite, I mean, if you need to spray it on me to give me the free
just give me the opportunity to come set up a few cameras for it.
Yeah.
Okay, please.
I'll sit in a wheelbarrow and then just.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
Just.
Yeah.
And then gunite and then.
Yeah.
I would like to do it like one time for real and just be done with it.
Yeah.
Because I know what I want to do. My pump is good, but clearly man.
I wonder how many dead animal bones are inside the pump.
Not a lot, because Venus and I cleaned the
it
shit out of it
Oh.
last year, yeah. I think that was she was up in there like pulling weeds
She was all up
and
in
she was like, "That's a dead rat. I'm fucking done." I was like, "Ooh."
I was out back mowing my yard. This was last weekend, out back mowing the yard, and I'm like, "Hey, there was a rat. There was a rat trap right here.
Yeah.
Where did it go?"
Yeah.
And so I start scanning around the yard, and I find it. It is stuck in the boards of the fence.
Yeah.
Like it had tried to go into the neighbor's yard and got trapped by the trap stuck to his ass. And I went, I'm just leaving him there for a while.
Oh, so it had
a trap stuck
it had
to
a
him.
Participant.
Oh yeah, and it got snapped and then drug it all the way over to the fence and then tried to go through the fence and got trapped and then that's
like the one that was over here.
Yeah, that's
I
where he
can't remember if we talked about it on air or not. There was for a time when I first bought a set of traps. This is months ago. There was like a fresh excavation tunnel underneath the like patio walkway.
Oh.
And it was like, okay, you know what? You guys are getting frosty.
Yeah.
And it's time
a little too big for your britches now.
So I went and Lowe's, bought rat traps,
and
set it in front of a couple places. And one went off. Peanut butter gone, no rat. And the next night, I think I re-peanut buttered and baited it, put it right in front of this tunnel. But it was like right under that walkway.
Because it's sort of a raised walkway, right?
Right.
It's like
it's a raised.
It's not sitting on the ground.
Right. So I put this trap right in front of the walkway. And somewhere, God, midnight, I think I snap. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, I think we did talk about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And then went out there only to find that the trap had been pulled somewhat underneath the pathway. And I went, well, I'll come back tomorrow and get that bitch.
Yeah. He wasn't there.
Only to find that the trap and the bitch were not there.
Oh, there's somewhere back there.
Right. So somewhere underneath, because it had pulled it into the raised platforms used for the walkway. So it was like at some point, somewhere in that span of the walkway underneath there is one, a rat, two, my trap.
Yeah. That I could use for other rats.
That I could use. There are like I'm not really impressed with those alligator ones. They're like plastic jaws.
Yeah. That's what I actually like those.
For me, they don't seem to, and it may be because the squirrels set them off.
Oh, you
and
got
then,
a lot of squirrels.
And then don't. And so they just never catch anything. I think the squirrels are just have
actually
a faster...
caught a squirrel in one of mine once, and I was very sad about that.
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we've talked about it. I killed a squirrel.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that with it. They don't really work for me. Also, I think there was at a time there was a skunk that was setting them off and then just dragging whatever he wanted around. I know there are at least 3 alligator traps of those
back there somewhere.
Somewhere that I like. Well, you're useless. I'll just put bait and put peanut butter in you, and just fucking if you get something, you get something. I don't know where those things are anymore.
Because typically they got snapped, and either they if they were up high, they fell and landed somewhere, or they trapped something and got drug off and are stuck
all
somewhere.
my stuff I put on ground level. Now, when the 2 times we've had Margot here, I vacate all traps off the ground.
Yeah.
So I know that once she leaves, I know that I have put at least 3 of these black plastic alligator traps out, and they are not visible anywhere. So someone has snapped and wandered off with and maybe died or just pulled it under somewhere, like the rat trap one.
Yeah.
I got no clue. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Oh, I'm so sick of rodents. They're terrible.
It's a thing. I ended up with I was talking with, you may not have the same experience. I was talking with a gentleman, a coworker. He lives in Arizona on, I don't know how much acreage he has, but it's pretty decent. And he has big dogs, a husky and some other breed that's big, but I can't recall what it was. And we were talking with another coworker that lives in Charlotte, and he has mastiffs, like a mastiff blend.
Big dog.
And he was talking about how the gentleman in Charlotte was talking about how he has his dog and his wife. She had 2 German Shepherds, I think, or a German Shepherd, and the dogs eat at different schedules because I think he's a newlywed with like 2 years under his belt.
Okay.
So the dogs have different eating schedules relative to the parent that they came
from their original setup.
So I'm just gonna say Bill's dog will eat as soon as he gets up. Will eat when Bill gets up. But the Betty's dog will only eat when she gets up. But sometimes the disparity is like hours apart. And we're just essentially just talking about feeding habits. The gentleman in Arizona who has the husky, he served in the Army, I think, but country like me. So we were talking. His like history of like when he grew up was a lot like mine. It was we didn't really feed the dogs on a schedule. For me, particularly in the country, my dad or mom would go to the feed store that was the Clear Creek store that's no longer there, buy a bag of dog food.
A giant bag
of kibble.
Mm-hmm.
We had a doghouse that was just for dog food. The bag of dog food would come out of the car. My dad would
Cut it open.
knife the bag, set it bag and open container inside the one doghouse that was meant for it, and the dogs would just eat
whenever
they wanted.
Hungry. Yeah,
the dogs weren't overweight; they would just graze as they were hungry.
Yeah, but they're outside dogs.
But they were outside dogs.
Yeah.
So the whole pest thing. Someone in the chat who was like watching us like just rattle on and on about being country folk was like, well, it sounds like a huge problem for like rodent and pests. And I went, well,
Yeah.
One, the dog feed bag house was right next to the dogs. There was I never at our house when we had dogs, there was never a problem with rodents. Never.
Well,
I didn't.
Up there, they have a place to go. You know, I mean, they get into houses and stuff.
Sure,
too,
they would.
they got room to go do stuff.
And as far as like insect pests, never an issue. Like I didn't know really or have a concern for something like roaches until I lived in suburbia.
Yeah,
Like there were no bugs in the dog's kibble. The dogs ate whenever they needed. There were no pests, and the food never went bad. There was never an infestation, and there were certainly no rodents in it. The biggest problem we ever had up in the country was fucking snakes, of which
or deer.
Gave two shits. Well, they still have deer, but they gave two shits about kibble. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, you would think that there might be a problem, but I lived in country enough where fucking roaches were not a thing, and if a rodent tried to fuck with the dog's food, it was right next to the doghouse where they slept. You know, and they were hunting. They were not hunting dogs, but they were country dogs.
Yeah.
They hunted gophers. They hunted snakes. They chased off turkeys. They chased off birds and squirrels.
And part of it for them was a game.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you would think it would be unhealthy or unhygienic for the dogs, but our dogs lived extremely long lives. We never really had a pest problem. My dad probably has a bigger pest problem now that he doesn't have any dogs.
Yeah.
They
help keep them away.
Sure. So it was a funny conversation. Like fucking, I have to keep traps because I no longer have pets.
Yeah.
And I have to keep on top of that. And the last year or so has been oh shit. Clearly, I have to
The
goose
dogs
this.
aren't actively going out back and scaring away critters.
Right.
And,
Whether or not it's
Yeah.
the skunks or there's a roaming possum. I think we've called Gary that we've seen every once in a while.
oh, dude.
Fucking Gary.
Yesterday, I took Max for a walk, and I'm on Pleasant Grove, so busy 6-lane road. And as I'm walking down, I'm like, what is that in the gutter?
Oh no.
And I'm like, please don't let that be a dog.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as I get closer, it was a huge fucking raccoon. I mean,
Oh.
dude, it was bigger than Max. It was bigger than Max.
It wasn't passed away, was it?
Oh, yeah. Dead.
Oh, dead.
Guts out
Oh.
in the gutter.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, that thing is a monster.
Goddamn.
Yeah. Poor guy.
He's probably just rolling across the lanes.
Yeah. He was just like, I'm cool.
You guys won't hit me, right? Oh,
Probably got hit by a Cybertruck.
fuck. Fuck, I'm dead. Hit by a Cybertruck.
And then that Cybertruck probably broke.
Right. I'm out of battery.
There goes my A-arms.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fuck.
Anyway.
Try and tow that corpse. Nope.
Yeah, there goes your frame, buddy. So,
Hey, welcome to Sad Dad's Club Podcast episode. Oh, is it triple threes?
I think so.
333. I'm the Lord Fu.
I'm Jim. And
I'm
this is.
the list master of lists and tasks.
Are you?
No.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, they just quick recap. Now we're on a new method of time tracking.
Oh, another new method?
It's not the spreadsheets. They rolled it out.
They want text documents now?
It's like an MS lists variant.
Oh.
We've rolled that out today. And then, I went, you know what?
Here's my 2 weeks.
Right? Holy shit. If only. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let this one bake until Sunday, and then I'll spend 2 hours on Sunday. Because they said, we want you to take everything from March 1st and put it into these retroactive of this new MS list time tracker. And I went, man, I'm fucking all out of gas.
You do realize I'm spending a third of my time now just doing time card shit.
Someone said that on a meeting today.
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah,
you guys understand that all of the things that you like to beat us over the head with, as far as like, are you getting this done? Are you getting this done? These tasks are important to your job description. And you are taking away that time.
Yeah, with time card.
With time
bullshit.
card stuff.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah, well, we have to do it too. It's like, you know what?
You got to pick what do you need more? You want time cards or you want work
everyone
done?
on my team, I have the largest laundry list of stuff because I'm like, you're never going to can me because I didn't prove that I was doing all the stuff that I say I'm doing. So I'm an overachiever. I have it all documented. I have the longest list of shit. And that means now that they've changed the fucking method on me, I have the biggest time sink to retroactively put all of that into all of that. And I got towards the end of the day that started early because I was helping cover for another buddy. And everything today just went total shit. So everything was like a problem that had to be solved. And it was all good stuff that got the gears going, but it was like nonstop all day. Bang, 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 bang. And then it was, at the end of the day, I've got to put
Where's your time card?
Yeah, time card assessment stuff. And at least with this new thing, it's not, by the end of the week, I have to take everything you've put and reconcile it with the big master list thing. This new thing is like a live, ongoing stuff. I was talking with a buddy from Arizona, and he's like, I'm done. Like, today was fucking absolute, like, long-tailed cat in a house full of rocking chairs. Like, I'm done. Like, and I have 30 minutes of, like, input this one, submit, input this one, submit. I'm going to be here for a fucking hour. He's like, you know what? I'm going to save it till Sunday. And I went, you know what? Same. Like, I'm already working long. It's already overtime. And in order for me to get square, it's going to be 90 minutes of me doing something that has absolutely nothing to do with
what your job actually is.
Expanding my talent in solving problems. It is clerical bullshit.
Yeah.
Most unfortunate. I'm like, I'll save it till Sunday. You know what? I'm done. You're going to probably finger wag at me for billing overtime to get it done anyway, so I'll do it in the middle of the day on Sunday, and then when something goes sideways, I'll say, well, it's this or
that.
You take a pick. Which one's more important to you?
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, at least there's that.
List master of lists. What do you got? We're like 30 minutes in.
Oh, my God. What do I got?
I saw pictures. I know you got something.
Oh, you did? What was it?
Radiator cap?
Oh, God damn.
I mean, I got something if you don't want to talk about it.
No, I'll talk about it real quick. It's not a long thing. I just popped the hood on my car and was like, the tank for the coolant was a little on the low side, so I'll add some coolant to that.
If you're an RS owner, that means blowing head gasket.
And I screw it's not an overflow like a normal overflow tank.
Okay.
But it's a clear plastic tank that has a pressure cap on the top.
Okay.
And so I screw the cap off, and I'm looking at the top of the tank, and it's got this that I've never seen before, a black piece that's in the bottom of the hole where the cap goes. And I go, I don't remember seeing that.
Okay.
And then I look at the bottom of the cap, and it's like, oh, that black piece that's still in the tank has sheared off the bottom of the cap, right? And I go, fuck. The fucking cap sheared in half? Like, what the fuck? So I filled it back up, put the cap back on. I went, oh, this isn't good, because this is a pressure cap. It's got like spring and shit in. There's a bunch of parts in there. Yeah. And I go, fuck. So I run to eBay, find one, order it. Takes a few days, gets here. Mm-hmm. So I go to replace the cap, which should be as simple as unscrewing the cap and then pulling that piece out. Well, that piece that's still stuck in there, when I go to pull it out, falls apart into a bunch of little plastic pieces that fall into the tank. Oh. So now I'm needle nose pliering into the coolant to try and fish out little bits of
particulates,
broken shit that don't get sucked into the rest of the car engine.
Right.
And the radiator and whatever. And I didn't get it all. I got pretty much all the big stuff. The small stuff, I was like, well, it is what it is. What am I going to do?
Right.
You know? So I replaced that, and it wasn't a big deal, but it's still like, what the shit? This car's not that old.
So it was.
I mean, I guess it is 9 years old now. That's crazy.
When do you think that started happening? Because I know the relative to pressurized coolant.
Uh-huh.
I know the RS has I know the RS's coolant system is pressurized. Yukio 2012, hers is pressurized. So the Miata.
Okay. So it doesn't have a traditional overflow.
It's at least 2012. Do you know? Like, when did that start? Because I understand the fundamentals of why. If it's pressurized, it can hold temperature without boiling over longer.
Okay.
So I get
I mean, like Shan's car's not pressurized.
Like it can take more pressure.
I mean, it's like essentially, if it's not pressurized, you just have this surge tank that when it gets hot, it can blow excess into the tank, and when it cools off, and it'll suck it back into the system.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's exactly how Sean's moms were.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
So I don't know. I mean, it's weird because also the Cadillac. I don't know if the Miata is similar, or if your car also.
What year's Shan?
Hers is an 11.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it has like on the back of the you have the tank with the pressure cap,
right?
And on the back of the tank with the pressure cap, there's another little filler that is another little tank underneath, which I assume is the surge, because it rarely ever has any fluid inside of it, but you can put fluid in it. I don't know what that does.
Ooh. In the Cadillac.
Yeah, there's another little small filler cap that's not pressure held.
Interesting.
It's very strange. It's like they removed the pressure side from the radiator and put the cap over on the filler.
Curious.
That's kind of, I don't know.
The Miata, 2012, it is closed system, like 33 PSI, I think.
Okay.
And the only reason I know that explicitly is because the Miatas, the NC variant of the Miatas, the coolant tank is notorious because it's plastic by default, OEM. The pressurized over time, it just got brittle.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I did with the Miata was I replaced it with an aluminum tank.
Aftermarket one.
Right. So hers is not. It's a closed loop of 33 pounds. The Explorer 2018, pretty sure. Venus is the same way. Like you have to it's a whole thing. And that's how we found her water pump problem with the climate control, like her heater problem. If you're a closed loop system, it's easily identifiable when you start losing coolant somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So it would be weird. I don't know how you get I don't know how you get your scenario. To have an overflow, because Mima, 1989. Mima has that. Mima has the traditional radiator, and when it gets too hot and it starts to boil over, it gets a thing, and then it kind of just reciprocates.
Yeah.
If it needs to, it siphons it back, or it just.
I think it just draws it back in.
It just dumps it back in.
Yeah.
Mima has that.
Yeah. And in fact, the cap on those have a little tube that runs to the bottom.
Right.
So they can draw it back out.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So your Cadillac has like a hybrid, like it's pressurized, but yet it has a suck back.
I don't know. On the back side of the tank, if you're really looking, there's a little. It's probably like inch big around, and it has like a little flip top thing.
Yeah. That's
underneath. So if you put fluid in there, it runs into the tank underneath the tank. So it has like this separate. So maybe that's the overflow. So I don't know.
Magic.
The bonus part of the week was that we realized that Melanie's Subaru.
Oh yeah.
Did I tell you this?
Was this off camera? It was a cool heater core. I think we talked about it off camera.
Her AC wasn't working.
Right.
So she had been complaining when it was real cold that her windows would fog up. And I kept telling her, well, just turn the air conditioner on because it had worked all summer. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, it just won't ever. They have a hard time. And her windows were always jacked up on the inside because she'd be wiping them and stuff. And the other issue is that her car didn't really produce heat. So she was having a heater core problem. So that was a problem. Right?
Yeah.
So the AC wasn't working. So we knew that because one day when it was 72 here, we had the air on and it wasn't blowing cold. So I'm like, well, we had an engine out procedure to do the head gaskets.
Right.
Logic in my mind would dictate that probably something happened to one of those lines or whatever.
Sure.
So I contacted the shop. He said, yeah, bring it in. He looked at it and he's like, we don't see any issues like under the hood. Let me keep it another day.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And he goes, I'll let you know. And then I don't hear from him the next day. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So then on the third day, I call him and he's like, hey, I was just getting ready to call you.
He's like, I was mid jerking off, but
what they found was they had dye coming out of the drainage hole for the, like when the air conditioner drains water out.
Okay. Like condensate.
The condensation drain.
Right.
They had dye from the refrigeration coming out of that hole.
Ooh.
Which is the evaporator, which is under the dash.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. But not part of the engine out experience that you paid. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So we have to get that fixed, but she can't not have air in her car this summer.
Oh, no. Not here.
Not here.
Welcome, #welcome to California.
We were like, yeah, that needs to be done. So then also, I was like talking to him, and I go, well, okay, it's going to be that much to do.
Did he say?
Oh, yeah, he told me.
What was it? Is it okay? You can tell me.
It's $1,400.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it's a dash out fix.
Right. Is there any possible way it's DIY?
Oh hell no! I'm not going to take a dash out.
Okay. All right.
I'm not going.
I don't know.
Oh,
So,
it could be. I'm sure it is.
Right.
I'm not going to do it.
if you were saucy.
I don't have the confidence in myself to put all the screws and bolts back where they belong
Fuck you, mosquito.
and not have shit rattle and not
Right in
break
your mic
and
boom
ruin
arm,
stuff.
Into your boom arm. Middle of the boom arm. Nope. Now he's out of your head. Fuck it. Fuck that
So-
guy. Oh, you scared him away.
So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But then I
okay.
was like, well, you're already doing a dash out repair
Sure.
and the heater core
Needs
is
to flush? Or
jacked up. It's been flushed a couple times. I flushed it myself
Mhm.
and he flushed it when right
Engine
before
out.
we got it back
Right.
from the head gasket issue.
Right.
And it is clogged
Again.
again to the point to where it's just as bad as it was when I
'Cause
first
she has
touched
like a bifurcated problem. Like it heats more-ish one
You
side.
get
but
basically
not-
one vent with heat and
Right.
the rest are cold.
Right. Okay.
So I said, the heater core we don't get heat out of it except maybe on one vent. I said, how much to replace the heater core
Okay.
while you're in there?
Right.
And it was just for the part. He's like, I'll just charge you for the part.
Okay.
So $200.
Okay.
So $1,600.
So let me ask
For
you
heater
this. Did
core
he
and
give you confidence that replacing the heater core would solve that problem?
Oh, it absolutely will.
Okay.
Because I know that for a fact because I have flushed it and improved it myself.
So I'm curious though, to like what has been causing the after you flushed it?
the heater core?
Yeah. Why is it
I think it's
continuously clogging?
it's
Or is
it's fucked up because they put that head gasket fix in there,
okay.
and that stuff stays in the heater core and we can never actually get it fully out. And so even though we've replaced all of the coolant and flushed it,
Mm-hmm.
it's releasing itself and then getting put back in the system and then getting stuck in the same spots. So I'm just like, screw it, let's just put a new core in it. So Melly doesn't know that part, so she'll get heat,
Mm-hmm.
which she won't need as much now,
Right.
but also she'll have her air back.
Hmm.
And I have now almost bought a car in the last 2 Subaru repairs.
Again. Hashtag. Wah, wah.
So we won't.
Things dads do for their daughters.
Yeah, she'll graduate in August. But you know, it's just like she needs air. She can't around here. You can't not have an
Well, she's
air conditioner that's working.
is she done traveling with it?
Yes, she's. One of the things we learned was that she number one. Oh, I'm so proud of her. She passed her praxis
Mhm.
test, which is the big test that says that you can be a doctor.
Nice.
She passed that.
Good for her.
And then she's in her externship. She has her requirements for her schooling are 3 internships and an externship.
Okay.
She's had 2 internships, and normally you would do the 3 internships in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But the schedule of the VA where she's doing her externship starts too early for her to get her 3rd one in there.
Okay.
So she had a couple of weeks where she didn't have she couldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in her externship, and when she finishes that in June, she has 1 more internship she has to do, which means she could go anywhere,
Oh, wow.
which is scary
Mm.
because she's home now, right?
Right.
So what we found out was that the VA will host her for her internship as well. So she just continues doing her thing,
Oh, nice.
and that worked out great.
How convenient.
And then
for
she'll finish in like July something, and then graduation's in August. August? Yeah.
Good for her.
So it's happening. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So anyway, she's going to need her car.
Yeah, right.
She'll be here in the summer.
So she hasn't had it for
We took it in last week. Well, it should be done Friday.
she drive Shan's car to work? Or?
Yeah, she's been taking Shan's car, and then Shan's been taking my car. And
I was
then
going to say,
just home with no car.
right. You just scooter around.
It's just like it was in the shop again.
right. It's
you
just,
know.
hey, man.
Yeah. So tonight was one of those nights for us where Melanie actually had plans with a friend. So she took Shanna's car, and I'm coming here. So Shanna's just home with no car. She can't go do
Enjoy
anything.
staying at home, woman.
Yeah.
Bake me a pie or
She's
some
getting
shit.
a little bit of what I feel.
Yeah. Just,
Right.
you ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Make me a... No.
There better be sandwiches ready when I
Yeah.
get home.
I expect a hot meal and knee pads when I get home. That's totally not right.
And put on this leather getup.
Yeah. And zip up that mouth.
Oh, gee.
Whoa. Shit.
No, it's just like, it's funny how you don't have one of those moments until something rolls around
Right.
like this.
Yeah.
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 So I think Friday, he says it should be done on Friday, depending on parts availability for the core, I believe.
Yeah.
And then
You're like, hey, man, while the dash is out.
yeah.
That's a good plan, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
like, for $200,
right.
we can fix the core.
Double, triple whammy or something.
For $200 and whatever dollars, we can fix the core and not have any heating issues,
Right.
right?
Right.
And also get the AC back in functioning, which is
Right.
kind of sucky because the AC worked all summer, and then at some point it leaked out
Sure.
here in the last couple of months, and it's like, and maybe it might have been getting weak towards the end of the summer. I don't know. I don't ride in her car that often. But as soon as I had the air running, because I was driving the Subaru a couple weeks ago, I had the AC on and I had it on full blast, and I'm like feeling the air coming out of the vents, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. Come on.
Honey, how long has this been doing this?
Well, she wouldn't have known.
Oh, because she would have been using the AC.
She wouldn't have been using the AC, but I said, this is the reason why your windows were still foggy. Right?
Yeah.
Because if the AC was running, it dries out the air in the cabin, and that's what dries up the air off of the windows, or the water off of the windows. And the fact that you were saying that it doesn't dry up the water off of the windows tells me that it has been broken.
Right. Yeah.
And yes. And that just means...
But, Dad, it's been doing that for like a year. And you're like...
No.
Thanks.
No.
Thanks, daughter.
The heater core, yes.
Sure.
I mean, that was honestly one of those things where I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to do a heater core. Because I did the heater core on the Civic.
Yeah.
Right before it got totaled.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fuck, that was an expensive job. I'm going to have to do a heater core on our car because it doesn't seem like we can get it flushed enough. If I've done it and the shop did it and it's still doing that, it's...
Like how much... I do wonder, though, like how many particulates are in that system for it to continuously keep getting clogged, though?
But I think it's residual clogging that's in the core that's getting shifted around and reclogging in the core.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Because it was never fully good. Even after a flush, like the heater never completely worked correctly. It was better, but not...
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I get you.
And I just think the shit's getting shifted around and recirculated through this, and then retrapped.
I knocked out 25% of the shit, but 45 is still in there.
And moving around.
And now it's moving around, and then it clogs up again.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that would be my guess. I don't know for sure. I'm not a mechanic. I just play one on TV.
Right. I just recorded on a GoPro.
And like I was telling Shanna, like, I'm okay doing repairs. Like, I put shocks on the CRV. Chandler and I did his leveling kit on his truck. Any number of things that I've done, brakes and alternators and whatever, fan in the CRV, like all kinds of stuff. I don't know if I'm willing to take an entire dash out. I mean, it's doable, but also like I don't want to put it back in and like go, why do I still have this handful of nuts and bolts? And where do they go?
Yeah.
And so many wiring things and clusters.
I think that's probably the biggest apprehension to most modern cars. It's like, well, okay, if you could get around the part where perhaps when someone says dash out, it just means that's the most convenient and you could probably actually get to X, Y, or Z part if you just had nimble hands. That's one thing. But then the other thing is, well, okay, I'm comfortable in doing it. Turns out, actually, you do need to take out a chunk or the dash. It's not a dash of what you and I would recognize in our teens. There's a plug or a harness or a push pin or some plastic thing that has gone the way of your radiator cap that the moment you put pressure on it, outside of the original 365 days it came off the fucking processing line, it turns into chalk.
Yeah, because it's been heat cycled for however many years.
What year is the Dodge? 2004? I think, because my dad had like a directional flap where the servo turned a paddle that like moved the floor to dash vents thing, and the paddle itself, the little plastic paddle, had chalked away, deteriorated, and it was just enough for me to be able to pull out the radio, the OEM radio, pull off the glove box door, and I could snake in with difficulty and knuckle cutting. Enough parts to get out the motor and the door and to replace the parts, but it was like that's it. Like that's anything newer. Anything newer, fuck it. It's too small or there are too many wire harnesses. I'm never gonna remember. It's too complex. And my hands aren't that fucking small. Like,
and I'm not a master tech.
Right. Fuck. But you at Meemaw, absolutely. Like not all day.
Well,
I can pull that dash out.
The thing of it is that's not a daily driver.
Well,
right.
That too.
I mean, this is a car that she drives every day to get to her externship and internship. It needs to be
working.
It's got to be working tomorrow.
The next day.
Yeah. Or whatever. So that's the concern. And I'm like, you got it. He's like a Subaru master tech. It's like, yeah, that's fine.
Just go ahead.
I mean, sure, I'll whine and bitch and complain about the money.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I have confidence in the guy that it's going to be done right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know.
If we only had cars from the 80s and 70s, but with modern... No, it doesn't work. No, you can't have A and B.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, you know, if I had unlimited time and maybe I'd done that job, maybe I've removed a dash a couple of times. I've never removed a car's dash.
Oh.
Ever. So it would be
Even
a lot
the
of...
Civic?
No, I never did it.
Oh.
The dash was replaced in that car, but it was done by the body shop.
Oh.
Remember when it got broken into?
Might have been before my time.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
When was it? At work?
Yeah, it was it was on my birthday, actually.
When?
I was driving with Don, and it was parked in the back of the lot, and someone broke into it and tried to steal the stereo out and jacked up the dash.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. So it had a brand new dash in it, which is a funny story into itself because it had a brand new dash in it, and I took it to this shop over here by where Green Acres is now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shop called Honda Acura Service Center.
Mm-hmm.
When they first opened, they were really good, but they changed hands.
Mm.
And I took it to them and had them do the heater core because it was blowing refrigerant. No, it was blowing. I had them replace the heater core. It was blowing coolant into the cabin.
Oh,
and we were going to give that car to Melanie.
right.
And so we got it back, and there were greasy fingerprints like on the headliner and like the A-pillar. And then the dashboard, which was brand new because we just had that job done to it, there were places where there were like tool marks on it and scratches and shit.
Oh, no.
And so we had gotten the car back, and I gave it to Melanie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I'd already given it to Melanie, but we got the car back to get the core replaced. And then it was like a Thursday. And then that Saturday is when we drove to LA, and we totaled
whammied.
it. Yeah, we were doing the show then.
Yeah.
And I called the guy and I said, hey, look, I'm pretty upset with you because we got the Civic back. And I told him about the greasy fingerprints and the tool marks all over the brand new dash that was just replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm pretty upset. And he was like, oh, man, I'm so sorry. And he started to like really apologize. I said, but as luck would have it for you, you're off the hook because that car got totaled on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
And he was like,
oh,
well, yeah.
But I want you to know you did a fucking shit job. I mean, you did the job you were paid to do, but also you wrecked a bunch of shit.
The quality was
So
yeah.
So anyway, I have more confidence in this guy.
Yeah.
On Melly's car, and it's just like if I can get the heater core and the
AC.
Yeah,
refrigerant.
The fucking
compressor.
No.
Balls on you.
Whatever it's called, the condenser.
Oh, yes.
If I can get those two things replaced at the same time and get those two things taken care of, then the only thing I have to worry about on our car is the windshield washer squirters, which are
bad?
I don't know. I think they're clogged or something, and I haven't taken the time to figure it out.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Just put some, like, Safeway squirt guns up there.
Yeah. And then have her drag a rope to get the wipers going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a pulley system.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, really. I'm just wiping my wipers.
I'm wiping the windshield. Just back. Yeah. And you'll get it if you watch the YouTube episode.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
We're nearing time, and I got one.
All right, go for it.
So a couple weeks back, you enlightened us to a protest that you went to late.
Yeah.
Last week, this time, we buttoned up shop. You left. I walked into the house, and Piper and Venus were mid-conversation about something, and I was like, I need food. I'm getting food.
Yeah.
And Piper looks at me, and she's like, you wanna go to a protest?
You're like, fuck yeah, I do.
And I went, for what? And she went, for like standing up for science. And I went, yep. Okay. I didn't know where, didn't know when, but she asked, and it was for fucking science of all things. And so I just said, yes.
Because she blinded you with science.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And fucking also Weird Science. Great movie. Bras on Heads. God, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Kelly LeBrock was hot.
Oh, yeah.
So then it was like, oh, well, I can't remember what day it was. Oh, it's... Wow.
Was that on a Sunday?
Nope. It was a...
Oh, it was during the week.
It was during the week.
I think it was on Thursday.
It was a Thursday. Wait, maybe I'm a day off. It's possible I'm a day off.
Or was it Friday?
Because I had to call my dad. I called my dad blind and just went, hey, I'm going to a protest.
Oh, I won't be home.
With Piper. I need you to push off until 2. It's at campus. I won't be back until 2. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. All right, whatever. And, and then I got the details. Then it was like, it wasn't at Sierra. It was at the actual capital, Sacramento. and it was like 12 to 3.
Did you go at 12?
We were there pretty much
nice.
spot on, like right on the dot.
That's when you need to go.
We made jokes between each other, like we're the two most introverted, socially awkward people possible to be attending such a thing.
Such a vocal thing.
But
yeah.
It was a number of instructors and administrators at Sierra College were attending, and that's where she found out she's a member of chemistry club, and so there were a number of science faculty that were attending. That's how she found out. So, I'm like, okay, it's important to you, then, and fucking science is important to me, so absolutely. And then, you're seeing these things about the Department of Education and executive orders. I'm like, you need to, regardless of how small or how insignificant you may rationalize your participation in that kind of event, it made right in my brain that I had participated in the voicing, like I'm here to, this is important.
You don't got to chain yourself to the doors or anything like that.
Could that have happened? Possibly, but in that, there wasn't 10,000 people there. When we got there on time, it was a small gathering. It was a small gathering.
They look like quite a few people there from the picture. That
by the time speakers started showing up about 1:00, there were certainly more people there, but it wasn't like it filled the Capitol grounds.
Yeah.
So we showed up. Like we said, we made jokes. We're introverts. But it was important to make a statement that our proximity and that we were there, that we were there. So we showed up. There was a PA somewhere shortly after 12. We kind of just stood around on the lawn and watched for a bit. And the lady said that, there was stuff for children in the back to keep them busy. And there were various like stand-up booths to register for mailing lists and things that were associated with the event itself. And then there was a pop-up tent if you wanted to make a sign. And
so you didn't take any.
We didn't bring a sign.
Okay.
We were just like there to participate and make sure that our head count was involved in the head count and that we appreciate science and science is important. Somewhere about 10 to 15 minutes into it, Piper's like, I want to make a sign.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you should make a sign.
Sure.
And she's like, I'm like, it's important. Make a sign. Well, I'll go stand in line with you. We'll make a sign. She's like, what? She had a couple of ideas of things that she wanted to say. And I'm like, you put it out there. But absolutely. Like, let it all fly. She's like, I'm going to say this. And I went, I can't put that on my sign because while I can, my voice is independent. If I were to say something that was inflammatory, I am still bound by a corporate thing that I could be held accountable for being inflammatory. But I'm like, there's nothing that says that you can't.
Yeah.
And certainly in the grand scheme of things, if I wanted to, I could. But I'm like, you should say what you want to say. So I stood with her in line. She walked up to the table, finally got a piece of paper, wrote the thing that she wanted to say on a front and a back, and she stood there for the chunk of the rest of the protest with her sign that got plenty of accolades and claps, and then she flipped it over for the punchline, and she got plenty of accolades and claps, and it was like two people who are not really good at doing a thing did something together to make sure that their voices were heard and counted for, even if it may not move the needle. It felt good.
Yeah.
It was my first protest. It was my daughter's first protest.
Yeah.
I'm sure Venus and Xander both would have gone if Xander wasn't at school and Venus didn't have to work, but it was my day off, and so I was the lucky draw to be able to take part. But it felt good. And I think even after hearing like yours, Melly's and Shan's when you went to the one you guys went to and you were late, but it still felt good.
Yeah.
Like there's no punch clock for that.
Yeah.
But to say I was here, I would like to be counted. I would like to say that I did that, and I don't just voice an opinion from a chair in the comfort of my home. Science is important. Most modern advances of everything we know come from people, regardless of their faith, if they have any, come from the scientific method. People asking a question, running experiments, finding the results, and then coming up with something based off those results that hopefully moves mankind's progress forward.
Yeah.
You don't get that without funding. You don't get that without people taking a chance on asking a question and the freedom to do so. And sometimes that means a dad and his daughter who want nothing to do with social interaction going beyond their comfort zones to say, this is important to me, this is important to our country, and this is important to what I believe in.
Yeah.
And that was worth it in spades.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was good to participate.
I have been enjoying seeing actually right there at the Galleria at Pleasant Grove and Galleria Boulevard. There's been a boatload of protests over the weekend.
Oh, really?
Lots of people at that corner protesting Elon Musk. And then I have also seen pictures and video from the Tesla dealer in Rockland of people protesting there. I think it's great because that guy doesn't belong in our fucking political system.
Our nation is founded on your ability to voice your opinion.
Yeah.
Protest is protected.
I mean, I'm not saying you should throw Molotov cocktails at the Tesla
Absolutely
dealer,
not.
You know,
you should not do that.
You should definitely not do that.
Right.
But I'm saying that
peaceful protest is protected. You should do so.
Yeah. Go there and let your voice be heard. There's been protests all over the world at his dealers. And, if there's another one that lines up with a weekend here coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will definitely be going downtown again.
And I'd asked her because I had read, I think going into that evening or even the podcast, I think I had read that Trump had considered signing or was working on signing the executive order for McMahon to dismantle the Department of Education. So when she's like, do you want to go to a thing? It's like to stand up for science. I immediately said, is this because he was signing the executive order to dismantle the fucking Department of Education? And this, whatever this event was already permitted and planned like weeks in advance. But the timing was like,
well, I think
odd.
there was already some executive order that cut a bunch of science funding.
Sure. I don't know the details, but I know that like the actual intent to dismantle the Department of Education was something that they had flooded. I'm like, fucking.
They laid off 1,300 Department of Education people today.
Oh, that's great.
So you didn't know that yet?
No, I didn't know that one yet.
Yeah. So that happened.
I know they're picking it apart.
Yeah.
I know to actually dismantle it, I get it. Like there's the whole Senate and filibuster proof 60 votes and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't stop her from like caffing off. Like if you could have a Department of Education that has one person.
Yeah, and that doesn't do anybody any good.
And that does nobody any good.
Yeah.
Like
Well, the things that are going to suffer are the red states and special
Right.
education. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, all the states will suffer to a certain extent because they all sort of rely on some amount of funding from the federal government.
Sure.
But most of the money goes to red states and to special ed. And that affects my wife directly because that's what she does, is special ed stuff. So, yeah, to say that we're not concerned would be a lie.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's
Like
nice.
all of these things, you know,
nice to see.
I was telling my dad,
I'm glad you went.
I'm glad I went.
Yeah.
It was,
I was so excited when I saw it.
yeah, I sent you a picture and you're like, fuck yeah.
I think I screenshotted that and sent it to a couple people. Jay, is that a protest?
Yeah. I did mean to ask because, you know, there's a couple of the band moms that I hang out with as a proxy through Venus that are teachers as well.
Oh, yeah.
I keep meaning to ask Venus and I keep forgetting, you know, did they know that Piper, really it's more about Piper than me, but like, you know, we went. The science is important. Your teacher's like, what do you think about this? I keep meaning to ask to just check in and see.
It doesn't matter if it's not just Piper. It's everybody.
Sure.
I mean, sure, Piper's involved because she's got things going on at the junior college, but everybody's affected by what happens or doesn't happen in science.
And that's kind of where I was going to go. Like, you voters who were concerned about a particular thing in the November election, who were fascinated or starstruck by a specific thing that your candidate was going to do, you know, there are repercussions 2, 3, 4 degrees down the road of a choice you made that you don't think would apply to you, but it does. That's why it's important to pay attention. If you're concerned about the border and that's all you give fucks about, but yet your kids go to a public school and the same guy who says he's going to put a wall up at the border also says at a thing that you're not watching that he's going to take away public school funding and your kids will suffer education because of it, I don't know what to tell you except you probably voted for the wrong person.
There's so many things I can say about that because we're talking about a guy that while Biden was still president, I want to say late summer, early fall, had a bipartisan bill that was going to bolster border security, a funding bill to bolster border security, which Trump told all of the Republican senators to not vote for and knock down.
Oh, so it did get...
So he voted, he forced them into voting against it because he couldn't run on a non-problem.
Right. Sure.
So there's so many moving parts to this, it's not even funny. Right. But if you're not paying attention and you're watching the wrong news,
yeah, then
you're not going to be
And that's
informed.
not to say that one candidate can solve all the problems.
No.
But it is important when you start thinking about the things that irritate or inflame you the most, what some of those secondary issues, how that may play out. And big picture stuff is hard to convey to someone who's so concerned about one thing.
Yeah.
And that's perhaps where we...
Got him.
I got him. That's perhaps where we've gone wrong in the polarization of news.
Well,
You're
all that rhetoric was brought on by that one guy.
right. You're so hyper focused on this one thing that big picture stuff gets lost in the chaff. There are a lot of things to be focused on. There are a lot of important things that we need to work on. Not one candidate can solve all those problems, but
one of them can get you a little closer to that.
One of
goal.
them can solve two more than the other.
One of them will just create a whole bunch more.
One of them will create a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
I think we're in for a big summer of fuck around and find out.
We're there.
I really do.
How's your 401k looking? Just curious. I mean,
funny you would mention that because I saw a news clip from Washington Post that was it was Ducey from Fox News asking the blonde press secretary, what does the president's economic plan have to do, have to say to someone who's looking at their 401k? And this was, I think, after the 1K drops in the stock market.
I think that was just like 2 days ago or something. Yeah.
And it was, and she basically rattled off that it's an economic plan transition, and there's a period where it's going to be in flux, and we're still pulling out of a dive thanks to Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And I went, ooh, well, I wonder like what my oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's it was painful.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, that sucks. Yeah.
I can't replace that money that fast.
Things are down.
Yeah.
Like I would like this period of transition to end.
Yeah.
At any point in time, we can turn this thing back on.
The bottom line is you look at the things that Trump has said over the course of running for his presidency, and he just says stuff that sounds great to people. Well, we're going to lower the price of eggs and groceries, and and he just says dumb shit like groceries. That's a weird word. Does anybody use that word? It's whatever the fuck he was saying, but he says dumb shit like that all the time. But he gets himself embedded into the minds of people who don't have any fucking idea what's happening in the world. And all they hear is, oh yeah, I'm going to lower the price of eggs. And so they go, fuck, my eggs were $9, right?
Right.
And then they go, my eggs are too expensive. They can't like process the fact that we have this bird flu that's going on that's killing all the chickens, right?
Right.
And the fact that the supply and the demand now are like this, and now you voted now for the guy. He's made it into office, whether it was legitimate or not, I don't know. But he's in office, and now he starts cutting the funding for the science that will look into bird flu.
Right.
That will solve potentially the issue that was already being looked at.
Right.
Of bird flu and mitigating it.
Right.
We'll never get past that now. It'll just run rampant.
We're running long. Damn it.
Just, go if you need to. If we got to go long, we got to go long.
It was it was it might have been like a spinoff of something you sent me. It was because RFK was just like 1 or 2 weeks back.
Can we just call him Worm Brain?
Worm Brain. How some of these guys still got, I don't know, and it hurts me. That the way that we sequence the next season's flu shots,
yes,
is relative to science and funding based off of the Southern Hemisphere's analysis of their flu strains.
Right.
And then the Northern Hemisphere builds...
because for those of us not in the know, when it is winter here, it is summer on the Southern Hemisphere and vice versa.
Right.
So they are going through strains of flu that we will eventually see next year.
Right. So... our science departments here in the States base your late summer, fall, winter flu strain shots, vaccines, off of the stuff that happened the year prior or the seasons prior off the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
The deadline to start analyzing and producing and working on those vaccines, he pulled that funding or those tests. Like, scrap it, stop it. Scrap it or stop it. I can't remember which, but the bottom line was the deadlines to have working vaccines produced for the United States missed a deadline.
Yeah.
And now I'm in a place where this week I'm going to have a conversation with my dad, and that is, you need to make sure whatever iteration or that he's on for a COVID shot, he at least gets that. And that he needs to start thinking about if he can't get the next season's flu shot because it's just flat out not fucking available, how is he going to make sure he's taking care of himself, whether it's masks or how he socializes? Come fall, it takes better care of himself or the things that he's eating, because he's going to have to figure out a way, as someone who's of age where he's more susceptible to that than someone of our age. If there's no flu vaccine, which he gets, he's going to have to figure out a stopgap until there is one.
Theraflu.
Yeah, just fucking nasal
Advil, cold and sinus.
Just fucking aquarium food or whatever the fuck it.
Bleach.
Yeah, just in the veins.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to have that conversation because some of the things that will enable my dad's health will be, as of right now, are unobtainium for his health safety. So now I have to come up with a backup plan for him to make sure that my dad's around, and just because he goes out and does a baseball game for adult rec league in late summer, it doesn't remove him from the planet because flu vaccines aren't available anymore.
Well, I mean, we've got measles outbreaks
Texas,
going on.
Fucking great.
So I mean, what part of the fact that we haven't had a major measles outbreak for I don't know how long to having a situation where now these anti-vaxxers have decided they don't need to.
Is it localized to Texas? Or is
What's
it
my
spread?
understanding?
New Mexico. I think I saw New Mexico.
Okay.
New Mexico and Texas.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily.
I know it was Texas for sure.
Stereotypically expect that of New Mexico, but given its proximity to Texas, it sounds about right. But
yeah,
not shocked at all about Texas because good job, Texas.
Yeah. How about Canada becomes the 51st state, and then California leaves the union, and then it's just 50 states, and we could just have California be.
Could we be adopted as a province of Canada?
Oh, that would be good.
Right, they've got
It'd
all
be
the
us,
fucking
Oregon,
anyway.
Washington, yeah, it's like
just
the whole West Coast,
the new country of non-Jefferson.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's call it Barbara.
I mean, that would be awesome, but I mean, we're the fifth largest economy. California is the fifth largest economy in the world. The number one economy in the country, but the fifth largest economy in the world. You see what I mean?
I have no problems being as badass as we are. I have no complaints.
Yeah.
Like, anytime I'm on a call where someone starts like throwing funny ha-has about California, I have no problems living here. I think it's fucking amazing.
And where do you live?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a red state?
Yeah. Good luck with
You're
that.
welcome to the taxes that we send to you.
Yeah.
Because we're not taking them.
Your kids' books are probably being paid with my taxes
Yeah.
because you guys don't have fucks to give. And good luck with that.
Yeah. Oh, it's trying. It's every day is a new thing.
Yeah.
Literally every day. It's brutal.
I have... Man, it's it's frustrating because the more I help, certainly as I step through in adjacency to Piper's scientific career,
Yeah.
it's important. Like I don't understand. Look, I'm never people who have faith and share faith and believe that faith is a thing that guides them. I don't care. That doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Right.
But science and what it provides helps everybody regardless of your faith. Science is important. Math is important. These things help.
It's like anything else, though. Just be kind to people in general.
Sure.
Whether or not they're church people or not. Even if you aren't religious, just being kind to somebody else
Hurts none.
Yeah. Like giving a shit about what people do with their personal lives and who they love. How does that affect you? I've been asking this question for a couple of years, several years. No one has an answer. How does it affect you?
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with science. Like, science affects you. It will affect you. If we don't have funding for it,
Yeah.
if you decide funding for science is not good, then it's going to affect you.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I like religion, pushing religion on the rest of the country that doesn't give a shit about religion is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes no sense because it's full of contradiction. Okay, I'm just going to say this.
Mhm.
The Bible is written by dozens and dozens of people that all have their own agenda. Every book is written by a different person with their own agenda, and it's called the Word of God. It makes no sense to me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It makes no sense to me. And there are tons of statements in the Bible that contradict themselves over and over again, but yet somehow people pick and choose little things out of there that like they love to use as weapons against other people somehow. That is not, I'm not a religious person, but that is not what Jesus would have done. He says, love your neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Essentially just be a good person. That's all you have to do. That's it. So
You should be a good person. That's
science has done more for us than the Bible ever has. I'm just going to say that too.
probably.
Yes.
Yeah. I would stand by that.
Because guess what's part of science? Engineering is also a part of science.
Yes.
Both of those two things have done more for the human race than the Bible ever has, because the Bible has killed
indoor
people.
Plumbing, your electricity, your
iPad,
your fucking iPad,
your swastika.
Science. Oh, I got 15 more miles of extra range with the software update. Science.
Yeah, it's all science and engineering. So that's all I have to say about that, because I think it's bullshit.
I will be... The Department of Education stuff really chaps my ass. It's super important.
I think it was about half the people were let go. But the thing of it is, Project 2025 is not real.
No.
But guess what? Everything that he has done since he has come into office is
based off
in
of that.
Project 2025. But it's not. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of what is it? Project 2025. I don't know.
I don't even know about that at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a Tesla though.
Another caught in a lie. Another. I mean, there are just countless of them.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, it's just. But I also, what I don't understand for me personally is this, in the situation where we're in, where he gets elected and everything is an executive order. Where's our checks and balances? How is this even allowed? Why isn't right? It's 3 branches of government: the executive branch,
Legislative.
The legislative branch,
Judicial.
branch. He's got all three wrapped up. They're all working for him now.
Mm.
It's a conservative judicial. He's got the House and the Senate, and he's in the White House.
Mm.
That's all three branches tied up. No one's going to fucking say shit to him. Unless we vote out the fucking House and the Senate and replace seats.
Right.
That is our only hope. And that is in 2 years when that next vote happens, I believe. Or there might be some other ones.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're midterms. Yeah.
I thought that was the midterm. Maybe next year. I don't know.
20.
I don't know when the next votes are. But
Where are we?
that is our only hope.
27?
If you want to stop Trump from doing shit from a legislative aspect, even though he just does everything with executive orders, like I don't understand.
I would encourage anyone that's listening to at least entertain or take an opportunity to find a news source that's not the one that you get whether it's AP News or Google News or fucking Yahoo News or Ground, Reuters, Bloomberg. You don't have to choose an MSNBC. You don't have to choose a Fox. You shouldn't choose Newsmax or OAN. But
yeah,
find something outside your wheelhouse to see if it adds any sort of differing viewpoint or a different perspective than the thing that you are comfortable in. Just to see if it affords you just a little bit of a different perspective. Maybe once a week, take an opportunity to look at something down the road, something a little bit bigger picture. If you're a Wall Street guy, look at education. If you're an education person, look at something in the financial markets. Look at something in real estate. Look at something in science or genetics.
Yeah.
Just take an opportunity to take in something that is bigger picture.
Yeah.
And maybe that will start to widen your perspective of the things that may be important to your neighbor or your kid or your aunt or your uncle or someone who's a stranger, that it may help.
You can't teach empathy. Sorry.
No, but we can remind people. Hopefully that, you can point it out. Maybe they'll find something.
Yeah.
On that note, you should return the cart.
Wash your ass.
Wash your hands.
Check your oil, Tony.
Stay up to date on your shots.
Make the call if you need to.
Pick up a broom.
Do the kindness.
Register to vote and vote. And we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.